Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I bet you can't guess what showed up at my house earlier today. It was a vacuum cleaner. A vacuum cleaner. My last vacuum cleaner didn't suck enough, and so I got a new one that hopefully sucks much, much more. That's the hope. Also Elden Ring, the board game, Realm of the Grafted King, that also showed up, so technically if you guessed that, I'll give you points for being halfway right, but the vacuum cleaner, that also I'm pretty excited about. I've already had a chance to use that, and I like how much it sucks. But anyways, this is an unboxing and rambling of the Elden Ring, the board game from Steamforged Games. As usual, regular warning to all those who are new here, this is an unboxing and rambling. I will go wherever the conversation takes me, which I'm guessing is going to be about like Dark Souls and all the Dark Souls type like games and all those, but we'll see. I also will talk loosely about this game because I have played this, at least the prototype I have played, and so I will talk about this to some extent, but if you are expecting a well-informed, just visual demonstration of all the things related to this board game, this is not that video. This is an unboxing and rambling, which is what I do on the channel. And anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this though. This is the Elden Ring, Realm of the Grafted King, a cooperative board game for 1 to 4 players that I had a chance to play, I want to say like 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. This was a long time ago. This is from Steamforged, by the way. This is not the all-in pledge. This is a core box, and what a core box it is. But we'll be going ahead and, well, showing you whatever I can show you from this. And by whatever I can show you, I just mean I'll be opening it up and showing you the various things. You see, I had a chance to play this, but my last opportunity to play this was a guided walkthrough of the game. Also, I should say, no coffee in my unboxing and rambling, because it's currently 1 o'clock in the morning, and I don't believe in coffee at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's a lie. I always believe in coffee, but I don't believe you should have coffee at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's a good recipe for being up till 4 o'clock in the morning for most people. For me, it would keep me up to 2 in the morning, which is still too late as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, I had a chance to play a guided walkthrough of the Elden Ring, the board game, way back when it was first, on crowdfunding. I went down to Steamforged headquarters, got a chance to play it, and I did enjoy my guided walkthrough, but it very much was a guided walkthrough. Like, I got a chance to dive in and play a pre-built character deck. I didn't get a chance to really develop and modify my character in any way, which is a big part of the game experience. I had a chance to go through a bunch of encounters as I wandered around the overworld and had a bunch of fights, and then I dove into a boss encounter as well. And so I had a chance to get a good sense of the various mechanics at play, but I didn't get a chance to fully see what this game has to offer. And what this game has to offer is apparently a 63-page rulebook, which I never love over here. But the question, as always, is how much is actually required to get into the rules over here, and that I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look. We have our bosses set up. We have 53 pages. Let's actually just do it from the table of contents, which is very helpful over here. So we have the components, the tarnish, the tridials, the campaign. This is all, I guess, is very relevant. Let's see, if we go to page 13, this is talking about components. I think you do probably need to read that. So we're looking at page 13 all the way till probably around 56, which is 43 pages of rules that you probably have to read, which feels like too many pages of rules. I'm never a fan of reading too many pages of rules. Sometimes the juice is worth the squeeze, other times it's a lot of pages of rules. Also, I was able to dive into this pretty easily from just getting a brief walkthrough of things, which I guess means you probably have to learn a lot, but you can probably get your friends up and running relatively quickly, is my guess. We have our scenario book over here. This is going to give us the, scenario book. The standard graveyard, the Church of Ella, an early trial, a graveside cave, the coastal cave. This is a good time to warn anyone who's here from the video game space. If you are a video gamer who saw this Elden Ring, the board game unboxing and clicked on it, and you see me doing this, I haven't played the Elden Ring, the video game. I debated buying it multiple times, but anything I say or do that is a disservice to the video game, my apologies. I recognize that you're probably very passionate about the video game, and that I'm not necessarily doing it justice. I'm excited about the board game, if that helps. I played that. I did like that. Anyways, we have our narrative guide over here, which I guess would go in the category of spoilers, so don't read too quickly as I flip through just pages and pages of text. There we go. That was done. We got our narrative guide done. We've gotten our rulebook done. Steps 1 and 2 are gone. Let's go to step 3, the encounter book. This over here. Oh, wait, no, step 4, the encounter book. This, no, step 5, the encounter book. This, no, step 6, the encounter book. This, No, step 6. No, that actually is it. That's it. We got our encounter books. We're good. We are good over here. We do have miniatures too. We'll come back to those. So we have our encounter books over here. 4 different encounter books that I guess will all meant to be lined up in some way. Meaning, as you open these, I'm assuming this will have like text on it. Not text. What's the word I'm looking for? A grid. It's gonna have a combat grid you can play through. There we go. You see, this is the combat grid. I know this because I've played on this combat grid. Now, what I don't know, there we go. You see, this, when you combine multiple encounter books together, you might be able to create cooler and larger combat grids. So my guess is if you have this over here, and if you open this at some point, let's say open to the next page, oh, that's why. Now I'm understanding what's happening. So this will go over here. I'm understanding now why we have 4 combat grids, because each one represents on its own the individual's opportunity to have a fight. So right now, I could fight in combat book C, and player 2 can fight in combat book D, and player 3 can fight in combat book A. I don't know why I feel the need to out of order, but when you have boss encounters, you're going to go ahead and have all, we'll say, an early trial, like you can see here, and then you'll line it up, and boom, now you have your boss encounter where all of you share your encounter books together to go through it. This feels unnecessarily large, although I guess depending on the size of the miniatures, it may be necessarily large. But I'm guessing these are all the same, past the asymmetric nature of having each one be a different facet of contributing to a larger encounter grid. Now, I won't heavily open these that much further because I don't want to do spoilers, and I don't know what will or won't be in these, but what I will say is the way these combat grids work, in fact, let's just show you a basic combat grid over here, because as much as this will be an unboxing and rambling, once in a while I will have useful, pertinent information for you. In fact, I haven't actually played in this one. I don't think so. The one I played was more of a cone, triangle shape. I don't remember. It's been a while. I feel it wasn't just a one like this. But what I did play a grid like this. You see, you're going to have your heroes on one side, and the way it works is you're exploring the overland world, and then occasionally you pop into these combats where we can take our turns in different phases of the game. You can be taking a turn as you wander around the overworld, and I'll be taking a turn as I dive into a combat on one of these goods over here. And so as you take a turn taking 2 action points, whatever, to move and collect stuff, I'm taking a turn swinging at an enemy. Basically, the game can maintain its turn-based structure as we do different things within the universe, which is an interesting mechanism. I like the idea of that. It keeps the game moving nicely. Now, once you do dive into combat, you'll be on one side of the grid, the opponents will be on the other, and then you take these stances as far as how you're going to be engaging with them. And at first, it does seem, and I'm telling this for just, I guess, spoilers to, I may have said this in previous videos, I don't know, but I remember when I first was getting the demonstration of how this combat grid worked. I was at the Steamforged press event for this game, and I was watching them give a demonstration of the combat grid, and I was thinking to myself, dear Lord, this game is going to be very boring. That is a very, very basic combat grid that does not look at all interesting enough. I don't understand how this is going to be interesting. And then I played it, and it was much, much better. And if you're still skeptical, remember that Too Many Bones, one of the most popular games in the adventure genre, basically plays out on a 4x4 combat grid. So, it's been done before. I do think Too Many Bones is better, just to set expectations. But this was a very satisfying experience. We got miniatures. I'll look at these later. Anyways, also, I think I do have an all-in of this coming, which means if I ever do an unboxing part 2, we'll skip the core set, because I don't feel the need to subject you to the exact same thing happening twice. Elden Ring, oh, here we go. Campaign structure. Elden Ring, the board game, Realm of the Grafted King, can go down to Stormville Castle. The Eldtree Avatar goes up to Realm of the Grafted King. Weeping Peninsula goes here. These ones go here. They all go here? Do they all go to Realm of the Grafted King? Is that the campaign structure? Everything filters into the box that we have in front of us? Apparently. Anyways, let's go ahead and take some more things out. We're going to have punchboards. We're going to have miniatures. Ooh, we got to the miniatures already. Here's the miniatures already. We got miniatures, and we got more miniatures. And do we have more miniatures? Yes, we do indeed have more miniatures. And then we have, on top of that, I bet you don't see this coming, but we do indeed have more miniatures. And then after the more miniatures, we have, I know you're going to guess more miniatures, you'd be right, but we also have cards. So we have more miniatures and cards in the final, the boss level, so to speak. We got miniatures over here, and then cards over here. So let's do the least interesting thing first, as I always do, which is cards. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this and pull it out. Hoping, how bad would that be if that had like open all over the floor? It would not have been great, I'll tell you that much. But let's start with the punchboards, because I do have some punchboards to go through over here. Then we'll do cards, then we'll do miniatures. And we'll get all this out of your way pretty quickly so you can go back to, playing the Elden Ring video game. Now, I didn't get the Elden Ring video game. It was recently on sale, doing one of the many Steam sales, of which I have way too many items wishlisted. And I I've gone back and forth on whether I'll like the game or not. So I'm actually going to ask you your opinion. Hopefully at least 4 of you have played the Elden Ring video game. So I'm going to ask you for your opinion on whether I should get it at some point. Whether now, well, I mean, whenever it is, it's going to be the next sale. I'm not going to get it randomly. But whatever it is, I am curious what your thoughts are, and I'll give you more information. But first, you have your cards over here with your various place to put things. There's 4 of them because you can play this game with 4 characters. They're all the same because it's not an asymmetric player board. So there's your player boards. Then we have a lot of dials. These are going to be dials. You're going to have to build them. You'll have a little token. So these are going to be the dials, to be clear. They'll have to be built into these cool little like trifecta things of, you know, your health and your attack and your cards or something like that. I don't fully remember how this works. I may have played with dials like this. Honestly, I don't remember a 3-point dial, but it may well have happened. I believe it happened, unless of course they added that later, in which case I don't believe it happened. Either way, then past that, we have tokens over here. So we got our regular Punchboard tokens, nothing too insane, just a Punchboard full of tokens, as you might imagine from a Punchboard tokens over here. But wait, we got, you guessed it, more tokens. And with that, our Punchboard unboxing section is done. Now we're on to the cards. Now cards-wise, I will be, I don't know what I'm going to show you or not. I have dividers, we'll show you that, but that's not what I meant. What I meant is I don't know what's going to go in the category of, spoilers in any way, so I don't want to get into trouble either by myself messing up this deck, or with you by showing you something that you don't want to see. So I'm just going to start opening decks of cards, and hopefully I'll be able to make the right judgment call about what it is you want to see. And if I'm wrong, my apologies in advance. Anyways, we got cards. Now, there's a lot of cards, by the way. There's a lot of cards, so I can't show you everything over here. I'm not going to try to show everything, but we got the backs of cards over here. Oh my gosh. These are, yep, there we go. So these are going to be cards. I can't, it's been a long time since I played this. It's been a really long time. I want to say these are the action cards that define the actions you're going to get. So what you're going to have is you're going to have these basic characters. You're going to have their decks, and then as you draw different cards, you're going to have different options available to you as you have these different symbols on them. So the more symbols of one type, so you have one of these actions, or you might have a bunch of these over here. And then as you level up, you're getting more and more actions on these cards to be able to do more and more things. I want to say that's how it worked, but I don't really remember. I remember that there's a lot of deck building-ish to the game as you build your characters, and then top deck from your deck what's going to help you as you build your hand of what you're going to utilize as you face off against baddies. So again, the tricky part is I didn't get a chance to actually engage in building my deck. I got a pre-generated character, which you probably start the campaign with the pre-generated character. I didn't get a chance to develop or build them, and so there's a lot of things about the game that I didn't get a chance to see that you'll get a chance to see as soon as you dive into it, or for that matter, I'll get a chance to see as soon as I dive into it. But we're gonna get this off over here, but I haven't had a chance to see yet. These, I'm gonna toss these over here and clean that up later. So we got more of these symbols over here. So you can see over here, we got 3 different ones over there. Again, I don't remember a lot, but obviously building up your deck, I'm gonna say something very controversial here, but 3 symbols is probably better than 1 symbol as you build your deck. Outside of that, these look like it's going to be the enemy cards defining what the enemies activate. This is the Tree Sentinel over here. I'm assuming that's an enemy, but honestly, I could be wrong. Again, it's the part where you have Godric's Knight. I'm pretty sure I fought against a bunch of Godric's Knights, but it's been a long time, and I'm 99% sure that I'm not a Godric's Knight. I'm pretty sure it's the enemies. Again, I haven't played the Elden Ring video game. Forgive me for the things that I just don't know. But I do plan on diving into this more. You see this as a sideswipe. They can move forward, and then they take an attack, and then again move. This tells you the pattern that they're going to have on the grid. And so different enemies have different attack patterns as you go through it, which will make it, you know, a challenge to figure out. This is the marching order. Ooh, these are the attributes, and these are the marching order. I don't know how many cards to show you here because there's so many different cards here, and there are going to be a lot of them that are going to be repeats. Well, not necessarily repeats, but not that interesting. And I'm trying to think the best way to go through this and show you more things that will be different and interesting without just showing you more enemy attack patterns, because that's not that different and that interesting. This tarnish suffers 2 damage. Okay. These are combat cards in some way. Again, the problem is, it's been so long since I played, I'm not well versed enough to be able to tell you competently what these various things do. But I could open this deck because it says heal, and I'm curious about healing. Anyways, what you do have in the game is you're going to have characters. The characters are basically going to go on an overland. So you're going to go around in the overland trying to accomplish your quest goals, occasionally being sucked into combats. Eventually you'll get to a point where you've done what you need to do to confront the boss. I don't believe there's bosses in every scenario, if I'm not mistaken, but there's combat in every scenario, I think, but I don't think bosses are in every scenario. But eventually you'll do what you need to do to complete the scenario and or confront the boss. Now, again, this is a combat card. This is the problem. I don't remember what maybe the core action symbols were for the overland, and maybe this was for combat. I don't remember. I'll have to read the rules. Those 43 pages of rules, I'll have to actually get to those. We have our samurai initiative. I believe I may have played as a samurai. That's a rough memory over here. I'm not confident. And we have more cards, more of these. So again, just a lot of different cards. We have our vagabond initiative, more of their cards, more decks, heavy strike pattern over here. We have our shove action. Yeah, I'm not going to heavily open all these card decks because I don't know enough to sound interesting as I go through them. Let me just take a look at these backs over here. We have our Lone Wolf Ashes, our Astrologer, a Combat. It's gonna be to the miniatures. We're gonna go straight to the miniatures. Let me ask you my question. While I continue to look at these decks, let me ask you my question about playing the Elden Ring. So I have played. Oh, here's we got our dials for those tokens over there. I've played through. Not played through, that would be a stretch. I've played some Bloodborne, because Bloodborne's a well-rated video game, and they had a Bloodborne board game, so I got the Bloodborne video game. I was like, I'm gonna play this, and then I played it, and I didn't like it. And part of why I didn't like it is there are two aspects. One is, while I appreciate skill thresholds in games, there's a difference to me between skill thresholds and then just feeling punished until you can master something, if that makes sense. And then two, a lot of Bloodborne was just running past things because otherwise you get stuck in a grind of killing things again and again and again versus running past stuff that respawned or that you fail the combat and you have to like just jump past everything. And I found that not satisfying. Now with that knowledge, as far as the fact that I don't like super punishing experiences and I don't like running past things just for the sake of getting to where I want to go, do you think that Elden Ring is a video game that falls within that umbrella, and I probably won't like it because I didn't like Bloodborne? Or no, it's very, very different, and I may well love Elden Ring? I am curious your thoughts, because I value your opinion, because the four of you have played the Elden Ring video game. Anyways, we're going to do miniatures now, which means I'm going to start zooming in a little more over here. Let me just get my camera into zoom-in mode over here. We have these guys, which I'm assuming are enemies, because honestly, there's more than one of them. Whenever there's a duplicate, it's probably an enemy. Also, the good guys are bronze. Like, I'll show you them in a second. We have all the good guys over here. They are actively bronze. That's going to be some of these guys over here. Now, I believe, if I recall correctly, it's been a long time. I want to say, see, this is the part where this is where we're going to memory over here. Does this look like a Godric Knight? Does that make sense? Are these guys Godric Knights? Because I have a vague recollection of playing against these guys over here. Oh, and if you're wondering what there's the Band-Aid over here, I got a cut on my finger, so I got a Band-Aid. Anyways, we got this Godric Knight over here. So, I think I'm saying confidently Godric Knight. What I really mean is, these guys look familiar, so I may have played against them, and Godric Knight sounds familiar, so I may have played against it. But I also might be completely 1,000,000% wrong in both those statements, so, don't take it too much as a actual statement of fact, so much as a vague potential wondering of an opinion, if that makes sense. Also, how do I put this back over here? This needs to go, there we go, that's good, that's good. Then we got our Tarnished over here, which I believe they're called Tarnished, and I think I played as a samurai, but I'm not totally confident. In fact, this should be a playthrough. Is it a playthrough? Was it a film playthrough or not? I don't believe it was a film playthrough. I think I got a demo session, but not a film playthrough. But either way, we have over here, we have one of our Tarnished. This is the, I don't remember the name, but we have that one. Then we have this one, which is, I believe, the samurai that I played as, if I'm not mistaken. So these are the two Tarnished you have over here. And then we got our other two Tarnished, which are, well, these two. The Forsaken, was that what it's called? And then the other one. So these are going to be your other two Tarnished that you start with. Now, again, the all-in of this game had a ton of content, a bunch of expansions. There was also that, like, Alexander the Pot. Does that make sense? Does that sound vaguely familiar? Some sort of reference to the video game or something that I don't know jack about because I still haven't played it, either the expansion or the base of it. But I am interested. Like, I am interested. I know, like, I don't know, any video game that's well-rated, or any board game that's well-rated, I'm interested in. But sometimes you have to remember that not all things are for all people, and not all things have to be for all people. That's okay. It's okay to have stuff that's good for one person and not another. Whether it's a board game, a video game, a book, a movie, not everything has to be perfect for everyone. The reason we have such a, not the reason, the benefit of having such an abundance of content in the world is that, ooh, these are the cool ones, we'll save these for last, is that the abundance of content means that when there's no pressure to like things that aren't for you. If a game is rated incredibly well and doesn't resonate with you, great. Revel in the opportunity you have to seek out other experiences instead. That's true whether it's a book, a board game, a video game, a TV show. Lord knows you should never finish a TV show you are not heavily invested in. Do you know what I just started the other day? I started From. It's a TV show. Anyways, we got these guys over here. So, let's talk about From a little bit. Why? Because I happened to say it, and like I warned you in the beginning, this is an unboxing and rambling. Now, From is a TV show that I've been I heard about it in a variety of places and ways, but the thing that pushed me over the edge to watch it is the designer of Mind Management, Jay Cormier, likes doing random movie reviews on Facebook. It's a random thing he does, and because of that, whenever he says he really likes something, if I was already on my radar, I'm like that much more likely to watch it. We got a rat over here. Now, From was already on my radar. The trailer did not look interesting. The visuals, nothing about it looked interesting. But what did look interesting, it was recommended as a video, as a TV series, that you might like if you like things like Yellow Jackets or Lost, or like those kinds of ongoing mysteries. And I love Lost. Enjoying Yellow Jackets. I kind of want there to be more resolution and less feeling it's just dragging on for the sake of dragging on. But so anyways, From was on my radar because of this. Now I just started From, and the first episode was very compelling. This is who I fought against. I fought against this guy. I'm having memories from like 2 years ago who I definitely fought against this guy. This is for sure. Anyways, this must be a boss then because I fought against him. But when it comes to From, so I started From, watched the first episode. First episode has me pulled in. The real question with these shows is how long they keep you engaged and whether it feels like they're dragging it on. Like even Lost, much as I love Lost, there's a certain point where you're like, are we going for conclusion? I may have fought against these guys. These might be the Godric's Knight. They have smaller shields and smaller swords, but I think it might have been this one. There's a few of these. Anyways, do you like when it comes to like Lost? Lost is an incredible TV series, one of the best ever, and it is one that's about the journey and not just the destination. But I loved it. But yes, there were better seasons and worse seasons. There were times where I felt like the story was dragging and times where I felt like the story was totally engaging. And Yellow Jackets already feels like it's dragging a little bit. Like it already feels like they're not really fully committed to an actual story, so much as let's keep the viewer watching, and that means we can't say stuff, but there's no progression. Like Lost kept on turning up the mysteries. The answer is a whole different conversation, but every season was like new questions, and the questions kept you engaged. I think Yellow Jackets is already at the point where it's like, I don't even know if there's questions so much as can we get to the point already. Now, From, I'm one episode in, so bear with me on this, but so far I am liking From a lot based on the one episode. That is not a review. A TV series does not stand on a single episode. It stands on the full arc of what it offers. Anyways, point is, there's so much good things out there, whether board games or video games or movies or books, any of that stuff. There's just too much good stuff out there. And too much good stuff will keep you engaged forever. Although, there aren't any good sitcoms anymore, are there? What's a new sitcom that's good? Like, there's iconic sitcoms. I was thinking this the other day because I wanted to start another sitcom. Because I'm like, I don't know, I want to start a new one. And I was realizing, as much as there's a lot of good TV, and there is a lot of good TV. Oh, we got our tiles, by the way. But as much as there's a lot of good TV, and there's a lot of good TV out there, genuinely so, I think that the good TV is more in other stuff that isn't sitcoms. Like, the golden age of sitcoms are going to be things like, in no particular order of favoritism, we have Friends, we have Seinfeld, we have How I Met Your Mother, we have Two and a Half Men, we have Scrubs, like all these comedy TV shows, Community, oh dear lord, Community is so good. All these comedy TV series, what was the last good one? Like, when was the last new one that was, like, iconic in any way, shape, or form? Because I feel like maybe Community and How I Met Your Mother are at the tail end of that. What's something new that is iconically good in any way? And I am very curious for your recommendations here because I need them. I want a new sitcom comedy that's amazing. Like, if you ever watched The Carmichael Show, that was gold. It only lasted 3 seasons, and that was a while ago by now. Like, I feel new TV is excellent, but not sitcom excellent. Like, there's no good sitcoms. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just not finding them. But I would love your recommendations. So this apparently, by the way, is a video where I ask you recommendations on whether I should play Elden Ring or not, as well as your recommendations on good sitcoms. Either way, it's still a good use of time. These are going to be your overland tiles over here. So you're going to have these tiles over here that as you explore the map, they're going to have different interaction points. And you are slowly spreading out and building a map. You'll have opportunities to engage in combat as you go. But this is the overland that your characters are exploring before they then get sucked into little combats, or if you're at a boss fight, the big combats. So a whole stack of tiles over here that we'll have to go through and explore. Anyways, point is, lots of good TV, lots of good board games, lots of good video games, but whether I should play Elden Ring or not is a different story. Anyways, this is the last box we have. This is a fairly short unboxing because there's a whole lot of cards that I can't tell you enough about. There's tiles, which I showed you a few. There's the bits, which are there. And then there's the miniatures. And to that end, let's go ahead and show you the big miniatures over here because there are some, well, big miniatures over here. And some of these I actually recognize from watching people play Elden Ring. I don't actually watch people play Elden Ring. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I have seen, I guess, bits of people. Like when I'm looking into whether I should watch Elden Ring, whether I should play Elden Ring, I have looked at, you know, reviews and occasional gameplay segments. So some of these do look familiar from those. Anyways, we have this guy over here. I'm assuming this is a boss because these are big guys and I imagine they are on the boss tiles and they are big threats that you'll have to dance and parry and adjust around as you learn their combat styles and attempt to not die. If I recall correctly, I want to say I won my first fight against the boss that I fought against, which was like a mini boss. Like when you're looking at the boss sizes over there, that definitely felt like it was a mini boss comparatively speaking. This goes over here like so. This goes over here like so. Then we have this character over here. Now this one, I don't think I've ever seen this, but I'm sure you have in some way, shape, or form. This is going to be like this cat person who looks a little creepy and probably kills you in the video game because I think that's what people do when they play Elden Ring. But anyways, that's the cat stuff over here. And then we have this guy. This is the one I've seen a lot in terms of video game coverage. If you're looking at people fighting against this knight over here as he charges around you and you're trying to like desperately survive. Again, like, here's my thing. I don't mind a high skill ceiling. I don't mind games that are challenging. I just don't want to repeat the same boss fight 17 times trying to learn the patterns. There's a balance between skill and grind. There's a very delicate balance there. And everyone's going to have their own personal preference as to what each one is. But if the things I'm saying make it sound like I probably shouldn't play Elden Ring, tell me. And if you're like, no, it's nothing like Bloodborne, tell me that too. Anyways, thank you for your recommendation. There's two of this giant guy over here. He looks very ugly. I like that big knight guy. Not such a huge fan of this one. I might sneeze at any given point. The question is whether I get to this end of the video before I sneeze, because there's only one more of these guys to go through. Although this is another one that I believe I've seen a lot of combat around in terms of the video game people playing over here. But there's this guy, whose name I don't know, because like I said already, I haven't played Elden Ring, so until I get up to the cards, I just can reference them as that guy who I have or haven't seen in any particular little bit of someone playing or reviewing the game as far as that goes. And that's what we have. That's your core box. Not a ton to go through over here, because I don't have a ton to go through over here. I need to turn that around. 1 second. Let me put this back facing that way. And then let's put the roof on this. I don't know why I said roof. The cover on this, which goes like that. And then that can go in this over here, and we can put it all back nicely, and then I can grab the rule book to read soon. I'm trying to think what's on my schedule and what's next over here, because I still have some other things I need to get done first. I still need to finish a little bit of Iridia, which the review is coming shortly for that one, and then I need to dive into, oh my gosh, there's so many things. I have Dragon Eclipse. I am currently started Tamashi because of Dragon Eclipse. I will get to this at some point, but maybe I'll finish Clank first and then get to this. There's this stuff to do. There's rule books and stuff. Oh, there's these miniatures. I forgot to show you these miniatures over here because these are up here. There's a few of these. I mean, I'll show you one miniature because they're all the exact same, but these are going to be some basic enemies you fight against, and there's a little package of 6 of them on top over here. So that's the last thing that we put off to the side in case you're wondering what that was. This can go over here. This feels like it won't go on. Why does it feel like it won't? I guess maybe it won't go on. Like it actually might not go on properly until where the rule book's at. Where did I put the rule books at? Did I put the rule books in already? That might be the problem. Give me a second here to figure this out. Nope, the rule books are fine. Nope, everything's fine. I just don't think it'll fit on until I punch the Punchboards probably. Anyways, that has been your unboxing of the Elden Ring, the Realm of the Grafted King. I will be hoping to dive into this as soon as I possibly can, although the rule book will be the first issue in the way. But after that, it should be easy enough to dive into because I do remember the general arc of playing it. It's more the setup and the building and the campaign aspects that I'll need to dive into and learn more about. But I will have coverage for you on it soon. I don't want to open that. I just closed it. I will have coverage for you on this as soon as I possibly can. And until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, I hope you have a good one.